Welcome to Vice and Easy, your podcast for all things Miami Vice, with your host, Marina. Hello, and welcome back to Vice and Easy. This week, we are covering Season 5, Episode 18, Miracle Man. But first, just some personal notes. I am not sure if I've already shared this, but I have great news. I have a new job and things are going great. I am busy, but busy is good. Busy means job security. And just want to say thank you for all the support. It was a rough summer, but I'm really excited to see what the new year brings. But let's get into it. I was like, I have no other life outside of that. So let's get into it. Season 5, Episode 18, Miracle Man. Per IMDb, the synopsis is as follows. The team has double trouble. First, with a strung-out vigilante messing up their bus, and second, a TV crew who wants to film it all for a reality TV show. This episode, I will say, is very ahead of its time. And although it's not really highly rated on IMDb, 6.5, I enjoyed it and it did hit me hard in some spots. I do have a lot of personal, not notes, but a lot of feelings about this. But let's get into it. Maybe I've just noticed this more this season. So we open up the episode. The cold open starts with Testarossa on a dirt path with this sky view of Miami in the back. But what I've noticed that the Testarossa has been in like season 4 and 5, some, I don't want to say down market places. Like I understand this is their cover, but like when it was parked in the alleyway in Death of a Lady, I believe, I just remember that vividly as it was surrounded by trash cans. So it parked in some weird places. And especially here, I understand they're not going to take another car to meet up with them. They have to keep their front. But I'm always like, I wonder if there are any paint chips. You know, obviously they're not driving at high speeds, but it's a powerful car. So I wonder, I have paint chips all over my car from gravel and I'm not driving on dirt roads. And I get very irritated because there's no dent on my car. And this was the deal with my last car, except for a scrape that I have caused. I had a dent in my Mustang for 10 years 12 years. Yeah, basically the first year I got it, someone had backed into the curve on the door of my car. And every time I'd go to a repair shop, they're like, yeah, it'll be like $900. Like, there's no point. And they're just like, just wait for someone else to hit you. And yeah, so I had that on my car for 12 years. Like little dents I could take out. And I've had like lots of dents that I've never caused, always by someone else. And I've been able to like plunge them or get them taken out. But yeah, I always wondered about that with the Testarossa. Okay, I'm getting off track. So Crockett and Tubbs both dressed really well. With Tubbs, I know classically the fashion advice is to not pair two very distinct patterns that don't share any color between them. So he's wearing paisley print, please feel free to correct me, with a polka dot brown and black blazer. We've seen this blazer before, and we've seen this top before. It's clashes, but again, Tubbs can pull so much off, especially this season. They are really taking really interesting creative directions with his character's wardrobe. And although this fit is weird to see, it works on him. Crockett looks amazing. He's wearing like a true, I don't want to say like a butter yellow, like a true yellow. Henley, obviously unbuttoned, with the white blazer, looking like $1 million. I really like Crockett's hair this length. Both looking like $1 million. Torres, whatever. He looks okay. I like the shades of blue that are kind of brought together with the pieces. But as they're about to make this deal, this also is paired with a very funny gif of Torres closing the briefcase, because you know why? They have been interrupted. As they're making their deal, this man with an M written in marker on his t-shirt with giant sunglasses pulls out with a gun and starts yelling at them.
Stop where you are.
What the hell was that?
You are surrounded. Put down your weapon. Surrender or face the consequences.
I Aguila sent you, didn't he?
Águila? Águila?
Who the hell are you?
I'm your worst nightmare, scumball! I am the swift sword of justice. I'm the cleaning broom that's gonna clean this city of drug-dealing filth like you. I'm Miracle Man!
I'm out of here.
That I'm out of here at the end, that's Torres, who again, in great comedic fashion, closes his suitcase and runs off. Miracle Man, with his Walkman, follows in pursuit, dropping his gun as Burnett and Cooper, aka Crockett and Tubbs, are talking amongst themselves. Crockett picks up the gun, notices it's a little off, and takes a bite.
Bet this has got quite a kick to it. Chocolate. A little old.
Now, that was an editing error, but when I was listening, I was like, you know what? I kind of like having that joke lead in to the theme song. I know a lot of other podcasts do it, which is why I haven't done it, but I was like, I'm going to keep it with this one. We're almost done. So let's enjoy it while we can. But yeah, the gif of him eating the chocolate gun is really funny. So who is Miracle Man? What is going on? And when they're back in OCB, Trudy and Gina, who are both dressed to the nines, joke with them that something weird was going on. Noticeably, Crockett and Castillo are gone. Castillo's been gone for a couple episodes, just in the cold open this episode. And here is the excuse.
Hey, Tubby, I heard you had a close encounter of the weird kind. Where's Sonny?
He's meeting Castillo up in Orlando, testifying in the subpoena case.
Did he fly or just beam himself up there?
Okay, maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm just not getting it. I don't know what Zwitek's joke refers to. Is it because the whole Miracle Man situation was weird and because Gina and Trudy talked about having a close encounter of the weird kind, then beam me up? So maybe they're kind of furthering that into why Crockett's gone. However, Zwitek and Tubbs are actually going to be pairing up on this episode, and we'll see them have each other's backs right when they go to the hallway because the commissioner has the worst idea I could think of. Okay, I understand that cops long-running show, but these are undercover officers. And yes, you'll hear Zach Grenier's, aka character actor supreme. You'll hear his excuse and how he thinks this can work. But yeah, Tubbs and Zwitek are 100% right in this scenario.
Cute. I like this guy.
Mr. Terry's planning a special show on what it's really like to be a vice cop.
Let us know what you find out.
Detectives, come into my office. I want you to give this man your full cooperation. I don't think I have to tell you what this kind of publicity can mean to the department. Do I?
It'll be terrific. I see the whole show shot in shadows and half lights, sort of a film noir thing. Focus will be on me, of course. Or my day as a Miami Vice cop. The cameras will follow the three of us around everywhere, recording our every move.
You know, I hate to break this to you, but we are undercover, and cameras kind of cramp our style.
Nothing to worry about. Your covers will be safe. We can alter your voices, change your names. We can even fuss with your faces.
Listen, buddy, I like my face just the way it is, so why don't you find some other players?
2 notes before I continue on. The commissioner's voice is crazy in such a complimentary way. How deep and all-consuming he sounds. Bro, you need to be on the radio. What are you... You gotta be... If you want to fix the police department's reputation, put on a radio show. This is the late 80s. People will tune into it, and you can dispel rumors instead of putting undercover officers. Yes, you can blur their faces and hide their voices, but how much of that I do remember old episodes of like America's Most Wanted, Unsolved Mysteries, and cops where they would have the faces changing. They kind of sound like this and everything obscured, but like you can't follow people around like that. Like, what are you going to do? They're just walking into, make a deal and they're just have like a blue dot around their head. I don't understand. Cheaters was the other one I was thinking of. Oh, I loved Cheaters. And I still want to go to Dallas just because that's like the home of so many iconic Cheaters moments. I wish they still filmed because that would also have been amazing to be in Dallas when they actually catch someone cheating at the restaurant. You just go nuts. My other note was there's this angle, maybe it's just the angle, but it looks like Zach Grenier is packing heat in those pink pants. But I was trying to zoom in on his crotch the entire episode, and I couldn't find another scene that would make me think so. So maybe it's just an air bubble or a pocket. Also, I do kind of feel bad for Switek in this episode because I can tell, even though that's not what the character is saying, they are implying that Switek, they could hide his face. Like that's hurtful. And Switek obviously knows that he's not Sonny and he's not Rico. And especially this episode too, I really felt bad for him because his wardrobe compared to Tubbs, night and day. He's just wearing kind of like loose fit shirts. I don't know if that's his choice. I don't know if it's just the costume department just didn't have things in his size. And again, this is not a large man. He's a little larger than Tubbs, but still made me feel sad from this whole episode that they couldn't style him or make him look nice. They just kind of don't let him ascend. And I understand that nobody would take Don Johnson's spot, especially at the end of the last season when it's canceled. But it's like, at least to have him kind of play the part, like give him a nice suit. I don't know. There are lots of big and tall stores you can go to. Like this man doesn't need to just be in flowy t-shirts or like flowy button-up blouses, but I digress. And for that whole interaction, again, the commissioner wants to, encourage them to play ball with Terry. And I just really don't see the point of this. I think they just need to have a foil in this episode. But again, very much ahead of its time in 1989. Imagine what they would have thought reality TV would have looked like now when there's so much reality TV on and there's so much self-producing, and modern day soap operas have been replaced by reality TV. And I read a really interesting article about the whole history of soap operas. And especially now when we don't really have a monoculture, except for, I'd say, White Lotus and select HBO shows that are released weekly, you don't have that same kind of monoculture where everyone's watching things at the same time. I guess I'll also include Severance in that. Some Apple TV shows, if they're released weekly, you can also kind of get that. And shows like Real Housewives and Vanderpump Rules and the whole Bravoverse and Traitors have just become our water cooler conversations. I guess, there's still network. Oh yeah, Survivor's still on. The Challenge is still on. Dancing with the Stars. But very interesting that 36 years later, what they were kind of coming into. And you could see how this show would be treated. I also think this show would be on Hulu, and it would be one of those kind of documentary style shows. And I think people would be kind of into it and kind of not. Like, I think it'd be like 2 seasons max. Especially if the cops don't even want to participate. I could see that being a big problem. But one thing about Eric Terry, you will learn, because Zach Grenier is a great bad guy, just with that look, is he is going to get his story. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Before I move on, a little bit of comedic relief.
So, you're cops, right? How about some donuts? I'm buying.
I will say Eric Terry is a great character, and I will give props to Zach Grenier for really filling him out. Now, when Switek and Tubbs are called to the scene of a murder, it's a familiar face. Torres, the gentleman that we saw in the cold open, And I also forgot to add, I'm so sorry, that he had joked about ripping off his boss. Surprise, surprise. It did not end well for him. Now, also on the scene is Miracle Man, who, again, wants this out of his neighborhood. And again, he has a lot of things he is completely right about. And he also calls out Zwitek and Tubbs, he doesn't know who they are, as being drug dealers, being part of this. They have to usher him into the apartment and tell him that they're cops, show the badge, and get him to buzz off and leave them alone and not ruin their cover. Unfortunately, this is already being captured on camera, which is also absolutely crazy. I do not know how the commissioner is letting this happen because, yes, production can say, oh, we're going to distort your voice, cover your face. They don't have to. Bonkers. Now let's check in with that angry boss. That boss, his name is Aguila, like eagle in Spanish. He is in one amazing outfit. This man, again, as you will see in the gallery, I'm very fond of this man's outfits because now he's wearing a blazer without a shirt underneath it and a gold chain that is in his chest hair. So before I introduce you to this character, I'm really curious what accent he's striving for with this enunciation and pronunciation.
He exposed you.
You worry about him. He's nothing but a crazy fool.
A crazy fool who will soon connect you to me. I can't have that. There's serious heat all around us. It makes our shipment that much harder to move.
Just leave it to me. I got some hot new buyers to take our load off our hands for 30 a key.
Oops. Sorry, I got that conflated. Parena and Aguilar, not Aguila. So I do apologize about that. Now we're going to see a familiar face because it turns out Miracle Man and him do go way back. But first, let's see what new business venture Izzy has come up with.
Easy, greenhouse effect.
Miracle Man comes by and it's very sweet. They grew up together, they're cousins, and they haven't seen each other in quite a long time. Now they're both in Miami. It's very sweet. And as they connect and they hug, Izzy offers to make him a drink. And I learned something today.
Well, it's fruit juice and rum and nut yogurt. It's Hemingway's favorite drink.
And legit, if you do look it up, that's what it says. Because for me, I was like, oh, that kind of sounds like a Hemingway daiquiri, but that's maraschino liqueur, rum, grapefruit, and lime. So this is no sugar, but then the recipe on the Defards guide says that there is maraschino liqueur in it. However, I'm going to go with Izzy because when I looked it up online on Wikipedia, that's what it says. So I learned a new cocktail today. And as Izzy and Miracle Man are connecting, Miracle Man needs a spot to crash and is asking Izzy for help.
What these dealers' poisons do to people, they must be stopped, Izzy.
Yeah, you keep this up, man, and you're gonna end up back in that hospital, and I don't mean just working there. These guys are not messing around.
Hey, I'm not afraid of them. They gotta deal with Miracle Man.
Yeah, you know the only way is to undercut the profit margin, and that means the L word. Your way, you're gonna end up like Miracle Manure.
That's a good one, Miracle Manure. But unfortunately, at the same time, there is a knock at the door. And they're interrupted when the camera crew comes by. My God, these guys are relentless. They're really painting Eric Terry as a great villain in this episode. And again, not to toot my own horn with the gallery, but I got a great shot of what I believe is a stuffed boar, Eric Terry, crossing his legs and hands, kind of like Mr. Burns' Excellent, while the camera crew is filming behind him. Let's leave them there because we are going to the club. Now, I have a lot of fashion and design notes, and I know I do that at the end as well. But this is kind of my dream. You have glass blocks illuminated by pink and blue light. You have a pool. You have a really hot blonde bartender. We have Aguilar in a white oversized blazer as well with a snake earring, dangly one. rubbing his nose from too much blow, and then having his blow thrown into the pool. This scene is amazing. Let's see how Aguilar talks to people in the service industry.
Más cerveza! Now!
The song that's playing in this scene is Nande by La Familia Andre, and that's the only song in the episode. So that is the music portion of the breakdown. Good night, everybody. No, I'm joking. As Aguilar is berating the beautiful bartender and doing blow out in the open as Zwitek and Tubbs watch from the corner, Miracle Man comes in to put a stop to everything, and Aguilar, I don't want to say respects him, but he does make a very astute point in this clip.
You're very brave, Mr. Miracle Man, or a crazy fool, but either way, you're dead.
Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do to me from prison?
And so at the end of the scene, the camera crew pops in, lights blaring, because of course they want to catch this. Zwitek and Tubbs can't actually make the bust because the citizen's arrest didn't work. And now Aguilar has this crazy guy and all this PR. His boss is already mad at him for being out in the open with all this. So it's going to make things a little bit harder. Well, let's head back to Vice, because the commissioner and Terry still want this reality show to be a thing.
Erica shows me your covers will be completely protected. You'll be behind a screen. Your face will be in the shadows all the time.
With all due respect, Commissioner, sir, PR is not a part of our job description. Thank you, sir.
Also, let it go. Also, as a viewer, if I'm watching a show and I'm watching two people in the cast, so let's say it's them and Miracle Man, two people with their faces completely blurred, or actually, since the late 80s, I like if it would be pixelated, just like a pixelated square. But it's just so funny. Or this would only be cool because it would have foretold what reality TV looks like now versus what it did like in 2006. Because I'm thinking about reality TV when I was growing up, like the Surreal Life. I guess the Surreal Life had confessionals, but now every reality show is confessionals, and you dress up and you have one-liners. I guess, again, I am more skewed toward the Bravo universe, and that's what I think about it. Whereas before with like Laguna Beach or an ensemble show, Real World, I believe you had confessionals as well. Sorry, we didn't have Real World in Canada. It was Le Monde, vraiment. On Musique Plus. No. So I wonder if that's what they're trying to say, is that like in the confessionals. But again, you still want to watch them walk around and do stuff and go bust people. And I don't know, just watching figures with like a square pixelated face and distorted voice might just not be great. I don't know. Or just get actors. Just fake it reality. Miracle Man can be the reality and just put the actors in. Okay, whatever. I'm talking 36 years into the past after so much has changed with reality TV in the future. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Let's go to the Cleveland Their Hotel, because it is, again, the interior and exterior design of this episode, chef's kiss. This person, I don't believe it's anyone new for this episode. I remember I was watching the credits. I didn't see like a new name pop up, but chef's kiss. Aguilar. All my notes say Aguila. I guess I was just hearing this wrong the whole time. No, it's the children who are wrong. I am completely right. He's at the Cleveland Her, and there's a great gif of a hot blonde crossing the street, and she almost gets hit by Tubbs as they pull up, because remember, they couldn't make that bust. Aguilar blames the Miracle Man, which also understandable. If I were to be a drug dealer, I would not want to be filmed by a camera crew being out as a drug dealer and having my cocaine being splashed into the pool. I don't need that stuff captured on camera. So I understand. Things are a little bit hot. Tubbs, as Cooper, wants Aguilar to bring him to Barrena. Aguilar's not going to do that. They leave. Then we're staying at the Clevelander, but we are transitioning to nighttime. We have some goons. You know how I feel about some great goons in a scene. Again, I have a great shot of this where Parena has a guy sitting down that him and his goons are going to beat up. But again, remember who's always watching? Miracle Man. So Parena takes this manila envelope full of money. Maybe a manila envelope isn't the right kind of envelope. It's a yellow envelope with a metal clasp. I hope I'm being correct. Sorry. I get nitpicky with myself, but people also get nitpicky. So I want to make sure that I'm explaining the right detail. But I have a gif of it as always. And there's a great shot of Miracle Man jumping up and knocking out Parena with the money. So like Robin Hood, Miracle Man is giving back to the people very inconspicuously as he is throwing drug money onto the street and giving it to the community. Izzy, always the entrepreneur and always the hustler. Again, Izzy would be thriving in 2025. They have merchandise set up. Again, there's a great picture of a girl with a Miracle Man tank top. I really wanted to make that the main image on my imager. I did not, because I've noticed a couple of my episodes have been completely taken down on Imager, and then one episode I can't find the files on my computer. And that's so weird because I so meticulously back everything up and everything is saved in a folder. So I don't know how this happened, or I don't know if I just never uploaded it. It's really mind-boggling, and it's from season 1. But yeah, I've noticed that Imager has taken down some of my posts because, again, even though it's not at all pornography, if there's like a girl who's kind of busty, the algorithm could just seize that and delete my whole post. So a little irritated by that. So if you are listening to older episodes and you've noticed that the gallery is gone, I am so sorry. I'm working on it. Except for that one episode, I want to say it's the Home Invaders episode, which is a shame. That's such a good episode. And I have so many pictures of Don Johnson smoking in that episode in particular that it drives me nuts that I cannot find the file on my computer or my Dropbox. It is mind-boggling. Maybe someone has hacked in and deleted the greatest photos of him smoking. Smoking outside. I think he's smoking during breakfast. Yeah. So mind-boggling. Sorry, to get back on that. That's what I really wanted the head image to be. And it is a Purina with the blazer open. But a great merch. I like how Izzy's even trying to sell a viewfinder. Zwitek and Tubbs show up, obviously. And there's also a drive-by shooting. So it's a very hectic, crazy, busy day, because Parena wants that money back and he wants to get his revenge. And it'll go without saying, there is no surprise that Izzy is involved with this merchandise flash sale.
Tell me you won the lottery.
I'm returning to the people money which rightfully belongs to them, making it possible for kids to live in a drug-free world, all right? And stuff like that.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Where'd the money come from?
From drug dealers, of course. I mean, a man has to stand up if he's a man. And everybody loves what I'm doing, even Izzy. Come on, show you. Izzy.
So as I mentioned, there is a drive-by shooting that takes place, and this is when they are going to take Georgie into custody because luckily nobody got hurt. Now, as Georgie's under their supervision in the safe house, we get to learn a little bit more about Georgie and his background. Now, this episode, I'm going to bring up Junk Love, even though I hate that episode so much with every fiber of my being because it's so upsetting. I cried actually watching this episode. Junk Love, he plays a completely different type of father, putting that lightly. And once we get to know a little bit more about his background, which I'll explain in a little bit, it really, I don't want to say hit home, but it really tugged at my heartstrings. And I really appreciate that Gina sticks up for him, because as you'll see in this next clip, Zwitek kind of makes like a little jab at him, and you know, it's not really what he needs.
And sodas, Sorry, Georgie, they were all out of comic books. What'd I say?
Gina follows Georgie to talk to him and connect with him, and it's actually a really sweet scene. And keep that in mind when you think about the other kind of father he played.
You want to talk about this? I'm a pretty good listener.
That's my daughter, Teresa.
She's pretty.
You ever see someone die of an overdose? At the end, they get so pale, so white. It's like you can see the poison right through their skin.
George, I'm sorry. How?
It's my fault that she got into drugs.
Georgie, you didn't turn her on, did you?
No. But I was a user, and I told her not to. But she wants to be like her father.
You can't keep blaming yourself.
You see, that's why I have to stop them. But men like Pereira and Aguila are so strong, it would almost take a
miracle man? Is that why you wear that outfit and chase drug dealers?
There are other men's daughters, other sons. Maybe I can help them.
You know something, George? I think maybe you are a miracle man after all.
Yes, I am.
That is just a really beautiful scene in that he wants to help others avoid what he has been through. And he is taking his pain and he's channeling it to help children and to help families. And you really do have to commend him. And when he's talking about his daughter wanting to be like her old man, I also, now addiction is seen in different lights and there's more research towards it. And I think now we would be able to recognize the genetic component of addiction as well. And it might not so much be, oh, I want to follow my dad's footsteps. It's I'm already predisposed to this. And I've seen that it's okay. She saw her dad survive and she thought that she would be okay. And it's very bittersweet, but you really have to admire that he's doing all this. He's putting himself in incredibly dangerous situations to help children and help families. Like, you got to commend him. So I understand. And that's why I understand when he gets sad too, that, you know, people call him crazy and like, you know, Switek made that little jab about comic books, but doesn't realize how deep it cuts because in his mind, all he's doing is trying to help others. And that's what we see. Yes, he is impeding the case a little bit, but at the end of the day, his heart is in the right place. So it's sad. Now we are very much switching gears. I am going to direct you to go to the gallery. I got a great shot of the sun setting. The sky is sepia toned as Pereira and Aguila are talking with obviously a bunch of beautiful women tanning themselves by the pool. And it is there that Miracle Man, well, basically they want Miracle Man eliminated out of the picture. He's causing them too much headache. However, Tubbs/Cooper, he says he's all for it. Miracle Man will be eliminated and it will be done. And the deal is contingent on basically Tubbs taking care of him. So back at the safe house, When Zwitek and Tubbs return, they find Gina locked in the bathroom. You know, Miracle Man was polite, and he apologized multiple times, but he's still gone. Izzy is pissed when he hears this, and when Zwitek and Tubbs go check on him, he goes through his giant Rolodex, which, very comical, obviously I put in the gallery. Izzy mentions the hospital that Georgie worked at. Gina and Trudy go pay it a visit. They find very different story than the one that we have originally thought about Miracle Man.
Georgie has a very active imagination. It's actually quite common among manic depressives.
Manic depressive?
Georgie is on an emotional roller coaster. And when he's in his manic state, he's on top of the world, liable to move to another city, change his identity, almost anything at all.
And when this roller coaster goes over the top?
Well, that's the sad part. You see, this is a degenerative disease, and the fantasy gradually becomes reality. The only reality. That is, of course, unless they're properly medicated.
And what happens if they're not?
Well, they usually try self-medication. They'll do anything at all to get back the up feeling. Coffee, diet pills, any kind of upper at all. And in Georgie's case, he's liable to revert to cocaine.
So what happens when the self-medication wears off?
Anxiety, depression, sometimes even suicide.
We've got to find him.
Ugh. They ask the doctor if there's any place she might know where they could find him. She mentions that he would mention a park that he went to when he was a child. And the next scene, we get Georgie kind of looking strung out, but drinking coffee in a styrofoam cup as he's walking in an empty apartment or in the laundry room of an apartment, because I see a dryer and then I see what looks to be a stove that doesn't have the top on it, like the burners. An apartment? Question. Or maybe it's like the rec room kitchen / laundry spot. Then, serendipitously, we see Georgie stumble into a park, the one that his doctor had mentioned, as a drug deal is about to go down. It is also the loudest and most clear drug deal I've seen in a while. I see a lot of them happen in real life. Usually a lot of them take place in cars. So I guess I'm coming from that Los Angeles perspective of what I see when I'm going under the highways. But this is like, hello, fellow kids.
And the price is right. We are talking some righteous crank, really take you all the way up. Miracle Man, let's split.
What drugs?
Now, I want to shout out Miami Vice Wiki for this. I didn't recognize this gentleman, but singer-songwriter Mickey Zetz was the guy selling that righteous crank. When I Googled, I found he's still going. He's doing a lot of interesting stuff, but someone I'd never come across in my life. So today I learned a new cocktail and I learned about a new guy. And this is when, in the scene, so obviously the kids run off. They don't make their deal. Georgie calls Aguila from a payphone to meet up. This is not going to end well. I can already tell. Aguila comes to meet him, obviously brings a gun, and they start fighting in the basketball court.
Activated.
You really are just a crazy fool.
No, I'm not. I'm not crazy. I'm just... It's dead.
The tires screeching in the background. That is Tubbs and Zwitek. And I don't play audio of gunshots, but there is a shot fired towards Aguila, into Aguila. Sorry, I'm using passive language. The bullet went into Aguila. No, they shot Aguila before announcing themselves as he's fighting with Miracle Man. And Aguila dies. Next, we see Aguila in handcuffs. A great scene of him walking down the hallway with media all up in his business. And who is the man next to him? Well, of course, it's Eric Terry with a slight bump in his pants, but again, can't see if that's, giant dong material.
Whoa, whoops, oh! I dropped my monster condom that I used for my Magnum dong.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get the reference right.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Sorry, as you could tell, I'm getting a little distracted with the soundboard.
For God's sake, why don't you open up your mind and your eyes?
And that escort leads him up to a hospital room. And then he gets a very sad visit. And I'm dumb because when I was watching this, I was like, is this his really young wife? Or are these his daughters? Obviously, one is his daughter that's very young because she mentions that. But I felt a little dumb watching this scene, not realizing it.
Teresa.
No, Georgie. This is Amy, your other daughter. Remember? Amy? Georgie. Georgie. Teresa is dead. It's time to let her go. We need you, please.
Oh man, the scene is just really sad. You can tell he's going through so many mental health issues. And I will give this episode credit for having heart when it comes to mental health issues portrayed on screen. Although he is called crazy in this episode and he's so angry when he's called crazy, which is totally justified. I really want to commend the show. This 1989, like the talks that we're having now that we think are normalized were not normalized back then. It always does bug me. I was watching something that obviously was filmed in like the 2020s, but took place in the 80s when they talk about mental health. I'm like, no, they would not say that. They would not use that term in the 80s. So, yeah, this is very thoughtfully executed episode, I will say, when it comes to mental health. And also, on another note, I couldn't be calling my father by his first name like that. I digress. We get a little bit of comedic relief. We have Izzy. Again, Izzy and his schemes. I will always say this with Izzy, is this man is never taking no for an answer, and he's never just sitting around. He is always on to the next. This is for good, though. He's trying to sneak in to help Georgie, his cousin. So he dresses up as a doctor and then gives us an amazing line in this next clip.
Dr. Troutman, yes. He only handles the physotropic symptoms. I was called in to deal with the psychokinetic diseases, the neuroconsciousness frontier.
Nobody told me about any specialist.
You think that one doctor examines the whole brain? Tiempo muerto. I specialize in Hispanic depressives.
What?
I've seen it 100 times. 1 second they're down, just totally depressed, really Villa Marista, then La Noche Vida. They think they're Cesar Romero. I'll just help myself, huh?
The orderly does end up letting Izzy in, again, to do his neurological diagnosis. And the Izzy is talking about how awful this room is. It needs more music. It needs this. It needs that. And then takes a bedpan and boink, knocks the orderly out. Takes Georgie and jailbreaks him and brings him home. Georgie really doesn't want to be left alone and pleads with Izzy in this next clip.
Hey, listen, you gotta stay here, okay? All right? Don't move. Izzy, don't go, Izzy, please. I'm feeling really down. Don't say that. Okay. Look, you're gonna be okay. You gotta snap out of it. I'm gonna be back in a flash. I want to get some Wheaties and some Pop-Tarts and a bunch of kids' food. You know, they say it's good for short-term depression. I mean, I read that somewhere.
Yeah, you going somewhere?
He's not feeling too well today.
Oh, that's too bad. Look, I just got another proposition for you.
Hey, he's really feeling down, okay?
Yeah, I know. I had a little chat with that doctor of his, the real one. He told me all Georgie needs a little motivation to get him back up to speed. Isn't that right, Georgie?
Now, it was really hard for me to get a screenshot or a GIF, but as you can see, I took a shot of Georgie having his palm facing up and Terry having his palm facing down. Clearly, they've exchanged something. Terry gives Georgie what appears to be cocaine. And then also gives into Miracle Man by giving him a gift that we can't see, but will be revealed in the next scene as a costume. And damn, if that's not scumbag behavior. Wow. Let's move on as we go to this deal. This is one of the wildest scenes at a bust. This is the magic of society pre-cell phone. Please go to the gallery because you see Parena standing in the dark, obviously with his hands behind him, on a stage. And when Tubbs/Cooper is there, also standing on the stage, it's not like he's walking onto the stage. So they're both standing on the stage when all the lights appear. And these aren't just regular stage lights. So the actual location, thank you Miami Vice Wiki, was Le Violin Club on Biscayne Boulevard. And they mentioned the show like, oh, this like closed, like not burlesque, but they mentioned the closed nightclub. Sorry, I don't have it written down. I didn't record that audio of exactly what they say in the show it used to be. But like this is like a dinner show spot. So it's not just regular stage lights. Like they're moving lights. It's insane. It kind of like similar to carnival lights. So this is just so crazy. And again, as this deal is about to go down, Parena says that, he doesn't like to... I love it. They don't make characters like this anymore. And just as the wild deal is about to go down, Miracle Man, in his new costume, comes in stage left.
You better be kidding me. Surrender, Perena. There's no getting away from Miracle Man. Kill him.
Naturally, shootout follows, and lots of shots are fired. Miracle Man is hit. You can see it in his uniform, his costume. And again, the news crew runs to the scene, sees Georgie. This is what Eric Terry says, and rightfully gets what's coming to him.
Somebody ought to do something.
Thank you to Switek for serving up that karmic justice.
Izzy.
Superhero. Los sueños son.
I included a little bit of the score because it is very sweet, and we can unfortunately tell the audience that Georgie's not going to make it. And there's a very sweet scene to end the episode where Izzy makes sure that he has his glasses on, and I have a gif of him putting the glasses on his face. And I think back to the last episode with Lombard and his son closing the eyes and Crockett doing the same at the end of the episode, and I just thought that was really sweet and a nice way to kind of tie it together. And unfortunately, that's the end of the episode, and we freeze frame on Gina looking snatched with that waist. But unfortunately, that is the end of Miracle Man, and that's the end of Georgie. And hopefully he knows that his legacy was for something in this episode. Boo! That's very sad as we wrap up this episode. Music, again, like I said, there was only one song. So let me shake it off and let's get into fashion. To absolutely no one's surprise, my best dressed man of the episode is Parena. Not just with that blazer with the chest hair and the gold chain, but his robe jacket. I know there's a proper term for this. It's just not coming to me right now. Again, without an undershirt, with the chest hair going all the way up to his neck. Oh, amazing. With the gold chain. And not just that, I actually put him as the best dressed duo with Aguila. Aguila with the blue blazer, the turtleneck, the one earring, the bangs, and the long hair with the striped pants. And you can just see the back of Tubbs. Again, Tubbs always looks great. But them with their sunglasses staring at Tubbs while this deal is going down is amazing. Now, for the women, obviously I mentioned Gina and Trudy looking like $1 million the whole episode. They did not make it to the top because obviously I introduced a new category just for the woman wearing the Miracle Man shirt. She does have a wireless bra underneath, but that's the one that I was a little worried about posting as my imager. Oh my God. I used to say it like that. My imager post picture because I was worried it would get taken down. So obviously I put that as best marketing. And then we have the hot blonde bartender who Aguila is very rude to. Sorry, Aguilar. I'm still getting mixed signals from where I check. So it's like we're wrapping up this episode. So it don't matter. But for best runner-up, I did put Trudy because I love all her jewelry in this scene in the hospital. She really does look like $1 million. Oh, did I really put Tubbs as worst dressed? Sorry, I did this a little while ago, so I forgot. Yeah, I know I said he didn't look bad. Actually, no, so I'll take that back. He didn't look that bad. Again, he can pull off anything. Philip Michael Thomas can pull up anything. And then for best decor was the interior of the Cleveland bar where the goons are beating up on the guy and Perena walks with the money. I really also like his white dress shoes. Looks like $1 million. And this is right before he gets jumped by Miracle Man. Yeah. So this episode had I think it had a lot of heart, and I know it's not a beloved episode, but I was like, honestly, we've seen so many worse episodes. At least this had a heart. You got some stunt casting. You got some repeat casting because you got, José Pérez as the father in Junk Love. Ugh. And then the father now. Two very different types of dads with two very different relationships and daughters going into drugs for very different reasons. We have Zach Grenier back. He was also an IA agent way back. It's the Teresa episode, and then this episode focuses on Teresa. Also, apologize if I didn't edit it out. As I'm thinking, I'm like, I am pronouncing that horribly if he does pronounce the French way, but I think it's Zach Grenier. Because like Grenier, I was like, I'm not doing either language justice today. But let's wrap it up. Let's do the quote of the episode. This is quote number 1.
So, you're cops, right? How about some donuts? I'm buying.
Quote 2.
Now!
Maybe that quote should just be like bilingually being a jerk off. Quote 3.
Nobody told me about any specialist.
You think that one doctor examines the whole brain? Tiempo muerto. I specialize in Hispanic depressives.
What?
This episode did bring us a lot of comic relief, which we did need. However, I am going to give it, because I'm so partial to what a slimeball Eric Terry is, I am going to give him the quote of the episode.
So, you're cops, right? How about some donuts? I'm buying.
And with that, we are wrapping up this episode of Season 5, Episode 18 of Miami Vice, Miracle Man. And I will be back in your ears soon. First, I just want to thank each and every one of you for not just listening, but for supporting, for responding, for liking my memes, for following me on all things social at Vice and Easy Podcast, for leaving me 5-star reviews on Apple and Spotify. Thank you for joining me as we wrap up this journey, and I'll see you next time, as always.
Hey man, Miami Vice is #1 new show.